Let's go, everybody. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the LA Poker Roundup. It is October 3rd, 2024, and this is episode number 57. We are coming at you on Thursday this week because, man, it's been busy. Derek and I have been swamped by work lately. I was off on a work trip. Derek's just been too busy to put it all together and do it himself. He said, let's wait until you get back. So here we are. But it's been a busy week in LA poker as well. We still had two series going on. We still have all sorts of great stuff coming up. So man, let's just dig right into it. And you know what? A couple of us here of the Roundup crew, I gotta say, over half of the LA Poker Roundup staff, if you want to call it staff, had a really big weekend. And let's just find out who those people were. So let's do this week. We're gonna kick off as always with our results. Start with a lot of results from the Gardens Fall Series.
And we also got some results from the Lucky Lady.
Yeah, and reports more like it. Luckily, we have a lot of eyes and ears out there in the field. So after that, let's chat. There was a long week at the Gardens Main. We spent a lot of time there, and by we I mean me and Frank. And we got it was a really good time, great events run. We'll tell you about our runs.
And the LA Poker Roundup Player of the Year has been updated. There's a lot of big jumps from the aforementioned LA Poker Roundup guys who went really deep this weekend.
Absolutely. And then after that, we have the full schedule out for Big Poker October with structures and everything. We will take a little bit deeper look at that this week because that is what's coming up this coming week, starting this weekend.
And so exciting to have all these branded events because right after that is the WSOP circuit event at the Commerce Casino. We're going to go through that schedule as well.
That's right. I mean, an MSP followed immediately by a World Series circuit. That's great. This is everything we wanted, man. This is gonna be awesome. And then
Yeah.
we'll polish off as always with our weekly roundup and tell you what's going on. All right, let's just jump right into it. I think I'm gonna switch the order from what we said there. Let's actually start at Lucky Lady this week. So at Lucky Lady, unfortunately, this week we have a little bit less by way of results. So last week, our buddy Jeremy, friend of the show, got the win. So we knew who won. We had some good final table results this week. Unfortunately, our friends did not win, but we did have some coverage over there. We did have some folks taking pictures and giving us some info. We have here some of our friends of the show who made day two over at the Lucky Ladies $100,000 guarantee. I believe this was only $160 or $135 entry. Got Larry,
What?
got Floorman Larry. We got it was maybe no, it was 230. I think it was 230. Floorman Larry, Eugene Tito, and Jeremy going for back-to-back, trying to get back-to-back final tables there. And I just want to point something out, something really interesting here. It might be a little hard for you to see down here, but they had a double bag bonus. All right, they had a double bag bonus. If you played twice, you got if you bagged twice, you got $1,000. There's a little double star here by Eugene. So if you check the bottom, they have stars on people who double bagged, but this little double star, quintuple qualifier. Eugene,
That's
the
unbelievable.
man, he's a machine. He sent us his message and he says, "Hey guys, I bagged 5 times in a row. He played 5 flights in a row and bagged every single time. Holy
That's
cow!
crazy.
I don't know if we'll ever see Eugene again. He may have found his new home.
He's grinding all the bonuses.
Yeah, it's insane. So like I said, unfortunately, last week Jeremy won it, and Eugene I think final table. This week Jeremy took a nasty cooler around 30th. He went full house over full house and was knocked out there. Eugene got 13th, so almost made that back-to-back final table over there. And Larry, I did not get an update from Larry. I'm not sure where he finished. Hopefully he did really well. So that is where we got from there. And, I looked on the Hendon Mob. I did not see any full results from Lucky Lady there. So if, I didn't put it on our Player of the Year race, but if Lucky Lady is able to get these big multi-day events into the Hended Mob, I think I'm willing to put them into our Player of the Year race because the main reason, like I said, I wasn't including any series from those guys is they typically don't report. But, maybe we can encourage them a little bit. If they report, let's get them in. Seriously. Have you ever played the Lucky Lady, Derek?
Nope, still don't know where it is.
You don't even know where it is?
No.
The first time I played there, they were running a Quantum. They were running a Quantum. I played.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that. I
Yep,
remember that when that was happening.
yep. I jumped in. It took me 2 bullets to get through, and that was I bubbled the final table, and that was one that Paul Chowderson won, affectionately known as Drunk Paul to the rest of you, I'm sure. And it was funny. That started a string of weeks where I was like final tabling or like final table bubbling like 2 or 3 quantums in a row. It was sick summer. It was a couple years ago. So that was my first Lucky Lay experience. So I have a bit of a fond memory of those guys. But no, it's a really nice room. The tournament area is not that nice, but the cash area in the back's nice, and hopefully they move. It looks to me like they put these bigger events back there in the nicer area. So, check it out if you're around. They do give food and drink comp to the 2-3 game and up if you're playing cash. So it's kind of, unfortunately, that's kind of or unique here at the LA rooms since COVID. Yeah, speaking of Paul Charlton, Frank's having dinner with him right now. Do want to point out, though, Jeremy had such one heck of a week the other week, right? And unfortunately, he was really pulling to get Frank's newly created Player of the Week honor, which went to this man. We'll come back to that soon. But because of that guy's second final table, did not win it. However, he was still getting some nice recognition, So here, Jeremy, apparently Alaskan Sports Report did a little article on him because, as you may or may not know, you guys out there, Jeremy is actually from Juneau, Alaska. Loves to support his fellow Alaskan poker players like Adam Hendricks, I believe. And yeah, he got a little write-up in the Alaskan Sports Report. And, I learn something every day. They call him Poker Pro Jeremy Hamey. I thought he was an insurance salesman. Apparently, they back in Juneau know him as a Poker Pro. So, no, but really, he's been, as we've been saying every week, he's been having one heck of a month, had one heck of a week. Really cool to get that kind of write-up, some recognition. And
yeah, that's awesome.
as we also pointed out and congratulated, he got married. This has been one heck of a summer.
Yeah, good job, Jeremy.
Yeah. All right. Now, let's turn our attention over to the Gardens. Now, they haven't put it on their website, but all of the results from the Gardens series have been posted to the Hendon Mob already. Talk about fast. They just finished the series this past Monday, and every single one is in the Hendon Mob. So amazing. So
yeah, Garden and Kevin just does they just do all the little things right,
Yeah, and Gavin big fan of the show, watches the show, was able to get us the results for every single event. So let's quick jump through these things, man. There was an 8-way chop in the first event, No Limit Hold'em Monday special. It had a 10K guarantee. They crushed it to 15K. Congratulations to David Osorio, who got the top prize in the trophy in the chop. The rest of the 8 people who chopped this thing: Sergio Soto Cruz, Zorica Papo, Raul Benitez, Raul Espinoza, Juan Kim, Felipe Melara, and Jackie Lee. And Jackie Lee's been popping up a lot in these things too. He's been having a good month as well. So here he is. And you know what? Let me tell you once again, I would not 8-way chop with a trophy like this on the line. Are you nuts? Come on.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm fighting. I mean, I'm actually fighting for every trophy, but I would especially be fighting for that trophy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've changed. You've changed. Now you'll chop for the trophies, but.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Like, I'll chop if I'm in first, but if somebody's gonna give me the trophy when I'm not in first, I don't think I take it because it doesn't feel like I actually want.
That's true.
But there is like that bit of pride in me.
Yep. Yeah, you don't want. No one wants a fake trophy on the wall. I mean,
right. Exactly.
Feel bad.
Sad after it.
The second event was also a 10K guarantee, 2-way chop. So this one was a slightly smaller. I think it was the night. Yeah, it was the night tournament. So congratulations to Fanit Polaith. He was top in that chop. It looks like they were pretty much even in chips, so a $10 difference in their chop amount. Second place was Goktug Guvel. I feel like we've said his name recently. Rest of this final table: third place, George Dowell, Emilio Delgado Vargas in fourth, Timothy Brayson in fifth, Walter Myers in sixth, Miguel Jimenez in seventh, Jacob Gade in eighth, and Jasper Carabaja in ninth. And actually, you know what? I think 8 is the final table at the Garden. So I actually read the unofficial final table. So congrats here. Congratulations to Fanit.
Good job.
All right, event number 3, another 10K guarantee. This was a 5-way chop. Taking the trophy and having the most chips when they chopped was George James. Look at this fella here in that nice trophy. He chose aces as his winning picture there. So congratulations, George James. Daniel Reinhardt Judith Pearson, Todd Silvosky, and Kevin Song. There's a familiar name. All of who did that 5-way chop. The rest of the final table was Iman Vakili, Joshua Sabilian, and Haobo Zhang. So congratulations to that final table.
Nice work, everyone.
Event number 4. Is this event number 4? A 3-way chop. Another $130 buy-in, 10K. So congratulations to Greer Zograbian. Reg we see playing all the time. Good to see him grab himself a trophy. Looks like he had the most chips when they chopped, so congratulations. Second place in the chop was Kachtur Chan. Kachtur Chan. Third place, Jose Leon. Those were the choppers. And the rest of the final table, Brian Columbia, Emilio Delgado Vargas. We read that name already here. Sergio Soto Cruz, another repeat final table here. Trong Nguyen, Sal Kiev, and Jeremy Hamey in 9th. So that was Jeremy getting into the unofficial final table of this one. And Sal Kiev, if you remember, I believe he was the top chopper in the last main event in the spring series.
Yeah, good job, all. Jared is just, inevitable. Mm-hmm. He's always going to be there.
So here is the No Limit Hold'em Knockout Bounty event number 5. So winning this thing, there was no chop. Way to go. Love it. No chop. First place was Chester Burnett. Picture right here. King shirt. Very appropriate for a no chop. Way to go, man. He won first place and over $20,000 in this $360 buy-in bounty event. Second place, Jacob Gade. Another name we just read. Gets over $11,000 for second place. Third place, Derek Greeley. Fourth place, Britton Purvis. Fifth place, Jimmy Stovall. Sixth place, Ronald Chung. Seventh place, Kuo Hong. Eighth place, Michael Hemsley. And ninth place, Paul Sergio. So congratulations to all of those players. Let's see, we got Locke Win here in 15th place. Old Luke. And
nice.
We got Paul Win in 11th. Andy Garcia in 10th. So yeah, a lot of familiar names cashing this thing. A lot of people down there were down there trophy hunting. I mean, you don't usually see Luke in a one-day $360 buy-in, so these trophies must have really brought everybody out.
I do feel like maybe our show is contributing a little bit to everyone's trophy.
Yeah.
Craziness.
Also,
just a little bit.
That event counted for our player of the year, being a 50K guarantee. I'm going to skip over the main event and come back to it. So let's jump over to event number 7. That was also a 50K guarantee happening on Sunday, the No Limit Hold'em Super Bounty. So that drew 323 players, almost doubling the guaranteed to 96,900. Nice. This ended in a 3-way chop. Top chip stack during the 3-way chop was Mac Walker, who took over 15,000 for that. Second place, Anthony Richards, over 14,000. And third place in the chop, Maxim Samsonov, over almost 13,000 for third place chop. The rest of this final table was Kai Chie Se in 4th, Jimmy Anvar in 5th, Francis Lumayag in 6th, Peter Lai in 7th, Basil Amari in 8th, Quincy Vassar in 9th, and just missing the final table was old Wild Gill the Rock Rob Gill in 10th. Jumped right out of the day 2 main event, jumped over into this thing and almost final table the thing. So congratulations to picture here of Mac Walker. Way to go. And then there was another event here that they have results for from Monday, the Monday special. And here we have, actually there should be 2 more. Yeah, there are 2 more. So here's, there were 2 events on Monday. The morning event, very familiar name, Aaron Zhang, first place. Came down from his vacation. He was tweeting about how he was upset he missed the main event, came down and just snagged himself a trophy, and then was promptly informed it does not count for Player of the Year, so that's not going to count. Sorry, man. But way to go on the first place. It was a 2-way chop between him and Kevin Song. So I hope you didn't chop to try and get extra points, Aaron, because that didn't count, but he still took almost $5,000 for the first place chop, and Kevin got over $3,000 for the second place. In third place, Nathi, I'm not even going to try it. So third place, Nathi, congratulations. Fourth place, Roland Augustin. Fifth place, Herschel Davis. Sixth place, Miguel Jimenez. I'm starting to think that's not a typo. Seventh place, Thu Nguyen. Eighth place, Gerardo Perez Leyva. And ninth place, Andy Wynn. So way to go, all of these folks.
Good work, everyone.
Yep. Sorry, that was a little preview for later. And then the other afternoon event, the last event of the series, was the No Limit Hold'em Monday Night Special, event number 9. Another 130 buy-in. And here, congratulations to Chong Liao for the first place in the three-way chop. Donald Bolt in second place. And I know that Donald actually got to take home the trophy because when they chopped three ways, they did a flip for the trophy at the end. In third
Oh,
place,
nice.
Jose Becerra. And fourth place, very familiar name, our number one field reporter, Franklin, got fourth, just outside the chop.
Nice,
He was
Frank.
playing for that trophy hard. Fifth place, George Alba. Sixth place, Juan Duff. Seventh place, Razmik Perea. Eighth place, Hector Alvarez Aldana. And ninth place, George Hayter. So congratulations to all of those players. Congratulations to Frank. We're about to see why that was even more impressive than it typically was. It was plenty impressive to begin with. All right. Whew, that was a lot of results. I mean, I love it. I absolutely love it. Frank is backing up that Aaron said he only played on Monday because he thought it counted for player of the year. So, I bet he did chop for the first place because he thought that was points. So let's get to the main event. So I went down there. I only played the main event this weekend because, all these other events were mostly during the week and at night. You were not able to play this event at all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we really missed you,
and it
man.
was such a shame. Yeah, such a shame.
We missed you. You
I
had a
really
really
wanted to
good
come out for this series.
this cabin. I mean, as we all know, the Gardens runs a great series.
Yeah.
We missed. I know that you definitely were feeling left out. You made a pretty sad tweet. Let me see if I can find that here. Oh yeah, here it is. So Derek was. This is how much he was missing coming to play. I don't know. This tweet doesn't really throw out confidence, man. But if this was the case, we definitely missed your 8 bullets, Frank and I. Let me tell you. um, so this thing had a 500K guarantee. As usual, it crushed it. It had this thing beat way early in, like right at the very beginning of the first Saturday flight. Everybody was coming out, bringing all the regs out in attendance. Frank took a million pictures. He did a great job of the coverage, capturing the ladies playing here. We got Beth, we got Alti. Did you put other names in here so I can read everyone's name? They're just tagged. So we had Rob, we have Mr. Seven Deuce here. We've got all the regs playing, so it was great. Frank and I did make day two. Bang, we bagged, and in fact, we bagged at the same table on Saturday, the afternoon flight. Had a fun table. Me, Frank, Taxi, Chris Stone was there, but then he got moved to another table where he busted the bubble for us. Sam, everyone loves Sam. Speaking of Chris, he bagged the chip lead, and he actually hadn't been playing in quite a long time. He said this is one of the first events he'd played in quite a while. He came right back and bagged the chip lead. So we're having a really fun day. We picked out a table to kind of highlight for starting tables. Starting tables on day two. This was a fun one. We had ourselves 4 different bracelet winners at one day two at the Gardens, and also a EPT main event champ. So out of these were 9-handed. This was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, this was a 9-handed table. Some of them started 8. So out of the 9 players, 5 of them had won either a bracelet or an EPT main, or a bracelet and a WPT something. So not a bad table. Not a bad table. My table was pretty good, except for the fact that the chip leader, Mr. Chris Stone, was directly to my left. Otherwise, I would have been the chip leader, and it was funny. I actually started the day with the chip leader to my left and the shortest stack to my right. But
Yeah, that's fine.
luckily, we ran good. We had a couple good moments, and I actually, at one point during the day, which almost like a fortune teller, Adam, Mr. Seven Deuce, on the day before said, "Look, man, I don't know what you're doing, but you've had the chip lead at one point in the day, like every single one of the last tournaments in the last month." So I ended up with the chip lead at one point again, so that was good times, and we were able to take that thing and ride it all the way. Let's go ahead and bring up the results now to a final table appearance. So pretty happy with my finish, and if you'll look closely, Frank and I actually basically finished back-to-back. We literally finished back-to-back, and not only did we finish back-to-back, we finished back-to-back jacks. This was pretty crazy and weird. I literally get busted in 8th place at the final table with jacks, And I walk over to the payout line, and on the exact next hand, I turn around, and Frank's all in with jacks, and he loses. It's insane. Like, what are the odds of that? Not only that,
Yeah,
but a
that's
little
crazy.
later, later on, when Sophia bust. So if we look at the top final table here, Sophia, wrong side. Sophia Umarova ended up in fourth. She busted with jacks too. So 3 out of the 7
Wow,
people who busted of the final 8, right, or 3 of the final 9, we all busted with jacks. Oh
that's
boy,
insane.
that's not enough to give you a complex. So let's go on through. So congratulations to Yong Sik I believe people just call him. I think he just goes by mostly. He is I believe, a bracelet winner, right? So congratulations
Hmm.
to Young. And then here's the picture. Guy. Second place, Alexander Farahi. Congratulations, and Alex. He just final tabled the Commerce main the previous week, and that is why Frank chose him as his player of the week. Final tabling 2 main events back to back and getting second this time. Way to go! Third place was George Utuk. Way to go, George. Reg. He's a reg of the area. Everyone who is anyone playing down there would recognize him. Plays down at the Gardens a lot. See him all over town. So he got third place. Way to go. Fourth place, Sofia Umarova, as I just mentioned. And something really impressive here is that I believe Sofia was the only woman in day 2 out of, I believe there's 61 of us or so. And she took it all the way to fourth place. So way to go. Congratulations. That's really great representation right there. And those are good numbers for,
Yeah.
they always say like, oh, well, ladies were like 5% of the field, but we're 30% of the final table, right? I mean, she was literally the only
Right.
one in day 2 here. Yeah, 61. She made it. It's sick. Fifth place was Ji Chung. He got 33 on the nose, 33K on the nose for fifth place. Sixth place was Sang Sim. And then seventh place, like I just said, our number 1 field reporter, Frank Lin, who the very next day went back and final tabled that other event we just talked about. And then I got eighth place. Ninth place was Brent Hart. So there was a lot of the regs, a lot of the good regs were around the final table. We looked down here, 11th, Andrew Ostapchenko.
Yeah.
Chris Doan, as we said, went out in 12th. And let me tell you, he ran so bad on day 2. So we were sitting at the same table early in day 1. He lost about, he was all in with a guy who had like 180K, which was, so he, as the chip leader, started the day with 800. And he got all in on the turn with Ace King versus Ace Queen on an ace high board. And there goes the Queen. And then later on, I'm at the table with him. And he gets 3 ways against tens and king jack with his ace king, ace and a 10 on the flop, so he was doomed there. And then the final hand he goes out on, he has kings against ace queen and the ace right in the window, of course. So just
Yeah.
ran terrible on day 2, but still managed to make it to 12th because very solid, very great solid play there. If you go on down here, we had Kirk Acevedo reg 16th. We had let's see, Nadir got 19th, Ryan Tosick 20th. Let's see, Gary here in 21st, Charlie Dew in 22nd, Mega Millions winner. So lot.
Taxi in 24th.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. Lots
that
and
was fun.
lots.
Yeah.
Adam got 28th, and Adam was a pretty short stack all day. So, yep. And just and really, you know what? I want to just really say, really props to Frank for grinding that middle to small stack all day. I don't think Frank ever had he always had under 20 bigs, I think, the entire day, if I recall. He'll correct me in the chat, but I'm pretty sure he was just being a survivor, playing that short stack game really well, as opposed to me, who ran it way up and then ran it kind of far down and then just kind of hung out.
Yeah. Man knows how to play man knows how to survive.
Yeah, Frank is a caching machine. I have one more
Yeah.
result. Kevin, being the consummate, loves to put the spotlight on his players, and we love it too. That's what we're all about. They are back to their regularly scheduled daily tournaments, and since we're on Thursday, we get the results of their Wednesday tournament. So on Wednesday, Alan Ansel won their Wednesday event, which had 242 entries, and this is a $130 buy-in weekly, just like a daily event, and he took home over $5,000 for winning this thing.
Wow.
$130, just like your regular Wednesday night tournament. You can win $5,000. What the heck?
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So way to go. Way to go there. So this tournament was, I just want congratulations to Cabin and the Gardens. I think they had a great week. I think everybody think everyone would agree, had a pretty great week. The one thing that I do think, or that I do kind of want to bring up, I guess, or talk about is the payout structure. So the one thing that we kind of there were some murmurs about and that we started talking about on day 2 was the payout structure for this main event seemed a bit strange, right? It's very unique. Now we all knew they do a lot of unique things. And while I'm talking, why don't I show some of Kevin's Instagram so you can see some pictures of the rest of the final table. So we all know the Gardens does some things uniquely, and they're always trying to look out for the players. But the way that this payout structure went was pretty head scratching to us. So let's take a look at that, Derek. And now I'm interested to get your thoughts on this and see what you think of it. So there were 61 of us that came into day 2, and the payouts from 61 through looks like through 11th, the pay jumps from 61st through 11th, every time there's a pay jump, it was a single buy-in more. So Kevin, it was a 10% payout, and the minimum payouts were double your buy-in, which is, Kevin's committed that the Gardens does double your buy-ins for all min payouts, which is great. Love that. But if you look, it looks like he had it in his mind that he was for sure doing brackets like 60. Let's see, what's another 11 people would be 72. So like if he had 72, there's going to be like 72 to 49 was going to be this amount, and then 48 to 25 is going to be this amount, and then all of a sudden it changed. So if you look at these numbers, like, I mean, well, things just jump out at you. It's like, well, that's interesting, but why be so rigid in that way? Like you're putting like a fixed bracket over something that's more fluid than that. And then to jump from a 24 player jump to 4 players, that was a really weird section of the tournament, man. I tell you what, as soon as we did that first pay jump, it's 24 more people. It's like complete wasteland of pay jumps, and it's only 1100. It was such a weird thing.
When I kind of look at this though, and I think in order to ever say that a structure is good or bad, it's almost like what are you after? Because what the result of this is that basically once you cash, you might as well not sit around waiting for pay jumps. And number one,
Yeah.
But it might make the bubble a little bit bigger because it is 2x, but it's nice because it's 10%. So if you're going to make it 10% to get the day 2, then make the price pool a little bit better, right? But what this basically does, it's like basically pretty flat payout all the way down to like 50 players. And then after that, you're playing for real money, then you get bigger jumps, even with smaller brackets. And I know that the brackets seem a little bit arbitrary, but I don't mind it because basically what it does, it makes people kind of play fast after they cash, and then when you get down to the final 3 tables, when the money's significant, and you start playing a little bit more carefully because of these jumps. So I don't hate it.
Yeah,
It definitely adds like different types of situations, I suppose, but not bad.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you that the pay jumps being kind of wide and the actual monetary amount of the pay jumps being so small I'd say up until that 11 to 10 jump, they really weren't meaningful though, those 1100s. Because remember, each time it goes up by a fixed amount, 1100. Each subsequent one's actually a smaller jump because the prize that you're adding it onto is smaller. So that's strange because there aren't many pay structures where each subsequent jump is actually smaller than the previous, and then it gets bigger again for a minute, right?
That's true.
So, and it definitely had the effect you had. Like in my mind, there's no reason to play for pay jumps until you got to that 11 to 10. And remember, they're 8-handed tables when we were playing down our day 2s. So the final 3 tables was 24 people. And even then, it was still that we're every 4 players, and then every 2 players are getting that 1100. Another weird thing, and this I've seen this before when they try and do certain things for final tables, is if you look, the pay jump from 11th to 10th is bigger than the pay jump from 9th to 8th.
The 8th. Yep.
So that's odd.
I did see that.
That's odd. And then they just accelerate so huge. So it's really interesting. It makes, like you said, it really lessens the emphasis on like ICM type play until you get to the final table, and then it really ratchets up in my mind. It gets really heavy at that point.
I didn't actually even notice that it was only jumping up by basically, like that one increment.
Yeah, it's literally 1100 all the way until you get to that 10 to 11. So each jump is subsequently actually a smaller deal. which is also
But it's
weird.
so interesting just because it's a 1K, just the 5K number, 6K number, 7K number just feels big. So to me, I was just kind of like scanning it, like, oh, it just seems like bigger jump. But you're right that it is like a linear. It's like a
Yeah,
weird linear.
because you would expect that the right thing, like you said, there's no right thing. It's like how you want it to play.
Yeah,
The right thing would be
yeah,
for each pay jump to be more significant than the less, even if it's a tiny bit more, right? But
yeah.
actually, the pay jumps were less significant technically
That's true.
until you got up to the top. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's very strange. I'm not an expert on payouts. Like we mostly focus on kind of how far out they pay and like what that minimum is, and then like how much they put at the top, right?
yeah. Mm.
And this one, putting 128 at the top is pretty standard for LA. I mean, it's a little over 20%, or is a little under 20%, a little tiny bit under
Yeah.
20%, right? So yeah, it's kind of standard-ish for around here. So yeah, I mean, it's strange because it felt like it's just kind of remembering the 500K Memorial Day one. The my big win had a similar guarantee structure and a similar prize pool, and the first prize is very similar. So I feel like, well, the top seems kind of reasonable, but how do you
Oh,
how do you spread the rest out then?
I will say that one effect of the $1,100 jumps is that a min cash and what was it, 61 paid? Was that right?
61 paid. Yep.
Yeah, so 61 paid. So it was only like 6 or 7K more to get all the way to like 10. In an $1,100 tournament, that feels a little bit rough. Like you worked a lot, really hard,
Yeah,
right, to
exactly.
get to the final table, and it's only like that much more than a min cash.
Yeah.
So there is that effect on a very linear
So the
payout.
difference between ninth place and 61st place was less than 10 grand. Was $9,900.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that feels a little bit off.
right. So that was the weird thing. I mean, you can do super well in this tournament, but like if you bought in, a lot of people bought in many times. I bought in 3 times myself. So like, um, I know I heard some people. I think I don't know if he was joking or not, but I saw Salzburg reply to somebody's tweet saying he bought in 6 times. So like,
Yeah, I
to
saw that
have to
it was one
play,
tweet. Yeah,
yeah, to have to
yeah,
get 15th, to have to get in the final 2 tables, and you're
right.
still not
Stuck.
up.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it feels
I
like
mean,
if you
but
get
what
that
what
far.
what was the effect of it though? Like, was it playing pretty fast all the way down to the final
Well,
table, or did it feel like it was playing normally?
the other nice thing, right, is we have shot clocks. We have shot clocks
Oh,
here.
that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there was no really, you couldn't slow play. I mean, you got your 30 seconds
Mm.
to play, and everyone was playing fairly quickly. I don't know if that was, what it was a result of, whether it's the shot clocks or not, or just, LA
Mm.
play. But, and, I had the chip lead all the way from probably 40, let's see, I had the chip lead probably from about 50 players to about 30 players. So I was playing lightning fast. You know me. Um, so yeah, I'm not really sure. It's like you have the shot clock, so it's less necessary to do that on purpose.
Right.
But I don't
Right.
know. Yeah,
Yeah, if it didn't really have that much of an impact either way, and especially with shot clocks, maybe a more traditional approach, unless Kevin had some very specific goals in mind. Like we don't know why Kevin said it this way.
yeah,
But it's definitely certainly interesting to look at.
yep. Oh, and I just, as a little story from my me getting the chips, I just want to point out once again that the poker gods just they love torturing me like this. Mystery bounties, bounty tournaments, whatever. I think in that mystery bounty I got like, what did I get? I think I got like 28th or something. Mystery bounty, never got anywhere near knocking anyone out. But for the second week in a row, Commerce main, this main, I think I must have knocked out like 6 to 10 people. Like second week in a row, I'm in late position, wake up with ace or kings, make a little min raise, and both the blinds ship on me. Second week in a row.
Huh,
I'm not complaining about the
nice.
play. I love it, but it's like we just played a mystery bounty the week before that. Where the heck was this? Why can't I just
Right.
scoop
Right.
these easy ones on those days, right? It's so crazy. Um, but yeah, so I I'm pretty happy. Like I think in days past, having such big chip stacks in day twos, last couple, I think for the Park West Classic, I had the chip lead for a minute in the beginning. For the Commerce main, I had the chip lead for a minute here. I think I would have been a lot more bummed about this a couple years ago, but like now I feel like, I am getting progressively better finishes. That is nice, but there's just so much luck even still, right? It's just
Yeah.
you go hard at the wrong spot, you lose one flip. You can't really get too upset about some of the stuff. So
Right.
just I'm just happy that I am way ahead of you in the Player of the Year race, and that
Nice
I'm
one
just
catch
gonna
up with
have
you
to
for sure.
make. I'm just gonna have to be happy with that, and I'm just gonna have to keep trying to keep putting that up. I feel like if I just keep getting these big stacks on day two, I mean, I'll break through and I'll get another trophy here. So we've got another couple good shots coming. And Frank, man, Frank is he's you don't suspect him and you don't notice him, and the next thing you know, he's at the final table again. It's
Yeah. Yeah, he's very quietly not sitting there with like a billion chips or anything, and just survive, and suddenly he's there, right?
yeah,
It's a
yeah. So
sign of a very, very good player.
absolutely love to see it. And I do want to, I want to point out one thing. I have hit a pretty cool milestone for me with this cash and with this one getting into the Hendon Mob so quickly. I have just surpassed 500K, half a million in lifetime earnings. So I'm
Nice.
pretty stoked about that. Feel like I did it pretty fast. Um, so I'm pretty proud of that. I love it. My
Yeah,
wife likes seeing
big
the
milestone.
number. Now I definitely get to mislead everybody. Whoever hears I play poker and looks me up, they're all gonna think I'm super rich. Obviously, we don't win that kind of money, guys, but it's still
Right.
fun. Oh yeah, and Frank's final table here. He got himself. He was down to four big blinds on day one near the end of the day, so he had quite a run up.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So I've teased you about it enough. Let's look at some hard numbers. So because this got into Hendon Mob already, I have the LA Poker Roundup Player of the Year updated through this last weekend. So this is everything is in here now from the sheet that says what counts, except for the Commerce XL bounty because they did not report. That for some reason is not in Hendon Mob yet. So once that gets in, I'll pop that in here as well. But for now, this is everything else. And Mr. Aaron Zhang still on top of the standings. He picked up another 200 points by I think final three tabling the Commerce main, so he is still up here. Q is still in second from his strong showing at the bike. I don't think he's added a lot of points since then, but we're about to go back to the bike. Calvin still in third place. It looks like that was all on the back of a big win and a big final table in the big one-day events at the bike. Kevin Babian, he was making a lot of deep runs at the bike. I don't know, and at Commerce, so he's up here in fourth still. Way to go, Mark Fiorentino. I think this is a large part because of his. This is a large part due to his win. I don't think he's been playing a lot of the smaller events. And then look at this. I have snuck my way into sixth place. Feel free to go check my
Nice.
math, guys. Go on ahead and do it if you want. But it looks like I have stuck my way into the top 10. I am in sixth place now with this final table here this week, 18th last week in the Commerce main. And, I think I day two'd and finished around 30th to 20th in like every Commerce multi-day except for the XL bounty. So that kept getting me the points. Love it. Armin Pogashian, he got that mystery bounty win. He is in seventh. And then Franklin, look at that. Just like I said, you don't notice until it's too late. Frank sneaks up on you. He's in eighth place. So look at that. Two of the LA Poker Roundup guys here represented in the top 10. Ninth
Good
place,
job, boys.
right? Congratulations, man. Congratulations, Frank. Ninth place is Mr. Young pretty much completely on the back of this win, but this was a big win. Yeah, that looks like the first place prize. So yep. And then in rounding out our top 10 is Sung Min Cho, who won the Commerce main. Also pretty much entirely on the back of that win because he's from Korea and he's probably not playing these other events. So way to go. Let's take a look though. There's some other movers and shakers. Maybe if someone gets a lot of time, we can go in and highlight these for like ups and downs, but I don't have the time for that right now, but we can take a look. We've got Eugene Tito, 14th place, climbing the ranks. Way to go. Ryan Hemmel still holding strong at 15th. Ryan Tosick in 16th. I think this is mostly just on the backs of 1Ks. I don't think Ryan comes out for a lot of the smaller events, so he's having really good showings. Beth Hall, 17th place, climbing the rankings. Way to go, Beth. She was down in the 30s, I believe, the last time. We actually, you know what? I have the last time here, so if we wanted to look at that. Yo, Beth was in 14th actually, so I'm sorry. Beth lost a little ground down to 17th. Sorry, Beth. Um, right here we have, where is it? Britton Purvis. We mentioned his name. He's climbing the ranks. I'm trying to get down here to you. Ji Chung was final table here. He's in 29th. Derek has climbed up to 33rd on the back of his big win, his big trophy Sunday. So he's got
Yeah,
546 points.
that was
So
a huge jump. I think I was down in like the
you
300s
were
or
down
200
well in
range.
the hundreds. Yeah, I think that win
Yeah.
probably got you at least 400 points. So another win could get you up 900. If you win another one
Yeah.
day event, you're gonna be right up here with me, buddy.
I think that this year has been so insanely bad that it's going to turn around eventually. So I'm kind of hoping that it turns around for some of the bigger dollar events.
Yeah. We have some other notables here. Brian Hastings, I don't think he's played more than 3 events, and he's got himself in 41st. Oh, and I
Yeah.
do want to thank Brian. He told us ahead of time he couldn't play the Commerce main because he was on dad duty. I told him, thank you for not coming. Now I can win. So thank you, Brian. I'm sure it was a big part of me making final table. Old Paul Wynn is here, and Paul is going to be interesting because he's one of those guys who tries to not put his name in the standings. So he very well could cash
Yeah.
things and not put his name in the standings.
Right.
Paul Lee, who we will likely be having on the show in a week or two. Final tabled several over there at the bounty events over there, and this will jump up if the XL bounty gets in because he final tabled as well. He is down here in 43rd, and Sophia just final tabled this one here down here in 48th. So our top 50, top 100, we got all the all the um, all the names, all the regs in here. So this is great. This is
Yeah.
exactly what I was hoping would happen. Honestly, is that we would get all of our regs bubbling up to the top. This is
Yeah.
I love it.
Great system.
And some people are, yeah. So far, um, thank you. Like I said, we have the link, I believe, to his Twitter out there. But thanks for loaning us your system here. It seems to be working pretty well for our purposes. And
Yep.
yeah, we are currently tracking over 800. I believe the number's up to 888 different people in this
Nice.
thing. So all the events, there's been 888 plus, more than that because there are unknowns and people who don't want their name in there. But there's at least 888 people that have unique people that have cashed events around LA since the World Series. So it's really cool.
Are all the trophy events for the next two series going to count? Yes.
Yeah. So with the bike, it's a lot easier. So now, I think I misled Mr. Zhang and Frank to an extent by using that by saying it was every Hold'em trophy event. That only applies to the bike because they are selective about which events they give trophies for. The Commerce and the Gardens give trophies for all of their events in a series. So those, you can't use the same rule. It's the larger guarantee events that are counting for this. And we have that. There's another spreadsheet linked on the website that shows which events count and that everything's all listed out. So go
What's
check
the
that out.
threshold for large?
It depends on the series. I basically it's been around 30K. So if there's a 30K guarantee or bigger, it's going to count. But that pretty much is where the threshold has been. But if like a
Okay.
series, like if say Lucky Lady did a full month and a half series, and their 1 day guarantees were 25K, and that was their big one. It's basically, like if a series has like a bigger guarantee and a smaller guarantee for 1 days, I just take the bigger ones. You know what I mean? But as soon as the schedules come out, I've been putting them on that spreadsheet, letting everyone know which events do count. So, and it's same setup for the Big Poker October coming up here.
Yep. Makes sense.
Yep. So, yeah. So Derek, man, you abandoned us. Why you didn't play like any poker last week? What could possibly have been more important? But what did you do more importantly? I'm not even sure what I would do for an entire weekend if I didn't play at least a day of poker. What did you do
Well, there was
Friday,
a
Saturday, Sunday?
so it was actually just because I couldn't play Sundays. I had something I had to do that was really important on Sunday because I couldn't play day two. I was like, well, then that means I'm not going to play the big event, but then nothing else is running for good, right? So I think Kevin was doing the right thing was he
Right.
was driving every single like table, every tournament table towards the main event, which
Yeah.
is what you should be doing. You shouldn't be running these weird like 1 days, like like the Commerce had kind of
But
done.
I didn't see you. I
Um,
didn't see you at the Mega Bounty on Sunday.
yeah, couldn't play on Sunday.
Wait. Oh, I thought you said
Oh
that
well,
you ended up. You could.
so basically, I ended up being able to play on Sunday, but then I decided I didn't want to just go out there all the way for a bounty tournament. So that was it. But yeah, yeah,
It sounds like you don't have the heart, man. I don't. I
this is why like I don't love the POY stuff because I just don't have like the grind that you guys have. Like you'll just bust out of something and then run over to luckily and play some sort of tournament. I'm just like I'm never gonna do that.
Yeah,
So I
Rob
don't
got
think I'll be able
double
to
player
keep
of the
up.
year points. Mr. Gill, he busted out of the main and went directly over to the
Yeah,
bounty and got points. He got double points in a day. You're Frank. We don't have to
yeah.
worry about Derek. This isn't going to be a problem.
Yeah, even after I bust out of the big one, there's like a decent one running. I'm just sort of standing there like pondering for about 10 minutes of whether I should play or just go home. So I always got that a little bit of that about me.
Jeez, I don't know if maybe you aren't the right co-host here. I don't know. Guy voluntarily takes the weekend off from playing events. Like, geez, I know you think you run bad at the Gardens, but like this is taking a little far.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't, you know what stat is? I don't remember what I really did this weekend. I mean, I wasn't productive with some stuff, I suppose. I got some work stuff and some side stuff done, but there was nothing like dramatically great happening.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Yeah, like I'm so degen. I had a work trip. You had a work trip up to Vegas last week or 2 weeks ago. You said you didn't
Yeah,
play any poker. I had a work
no
trip.
poker, not even a hand of cash. Yeah,
I had a work trip up to Vegas this week, and I did get some table time in, and I really shouldn't have because I was playing. I left early by my standards. I left table at like 12:30, but I had an 8 a.m. meeting the next day that was like an hour away. So I actually, like, I ended up getting like less than 4.5 hours of sleep or something. But I checked out the Sahara poker room. Man, that is tiny. They have barely anything. They had like 6 tables. There was like 2 going. They ran like this $50 with an add-on tournament at night. So I mucked around there for a minute, but I was able to do pretty well. I ended up winning about 650 or so in just over 3 hours at a
nice.
1-3 game. At a 1-3 game.
Wow,
Not only that, but it
wow,
was a short-handed 1-3 game where we got all the way down to 3 and 2 people for a second. We were mostly playing 4-handed, 5-handed a little bit.
yeah.
They have this silly thing where you can straddle the button. I don't know if this is the Mississippi straddle or a different word for it. It's the one where you straddle the button, and then if nobody raises you, it skips you and goes to the blinds and then comes back to your preflop. It's just so busted. So busted. Yeah, Duke, I think Derek might be washed. Let's see. Um, but we did have an interesting incident at that cash table, and I say this all the time. My number one thing I hate at these cash games are these kind of misregs, these shit regs who are just awful and are angling and are just being like completely, I don't know, the parasitic or whatever. They're just making it not fun for everyone else, right? So we had a guy who we were playing this big hand three ways. He's stuck in the middle. I'm on the button, and on the river it goes check. He bets. I raise him. He bets like 30. I make it 150, and then this guy's been annoyed at me because we're playing short-handed, so I'm raising and I'm being aggressive, and I'm winning like 70% of the pots because the other guys are mostly folding. So he's been waiting to get me, right? So he makes it 30. I go 150, and he snap calls and flips his hand over before the dealer can even say, hold on. She still has cards. She's still in the hand.
Yeah, yeah,
So he does that. Everyone's like, I'm saying, me, I would say it really fast, but he was
yeah,
so quick. He was just like, bang, slam, because he had Tripp's top kicker. Flipped it
yeah,
over, and we're like, whoa, hey, it's on her. It's on her. So now he's like, oh, sorry, I acted out of turn. And he's like, now he's pulling his chips back, and we're like, no. You're gonna have to call if the action doesn't change. He's like, what do you mean? No, I won't. I don't have to call if she calls. Blah blah blah. And we're like, you're gonna have to call. Like, you called out a
yeah,
turn. If she doesn't raise, you're gonna have to call. He's like, that's not a thing. What do you mean? I'm not blah blah. He's getting all annoyed. Call the floor over. Floor gives the correct ruling, and it's really funny because, and then he eventually, and like he's arguing, and of course he does what every misreg does when someone else at the table makes a good point, because the other person at the table, there are only 4 of us, maybe 5. Most of us were in the hand. One person's not in the hand, and he says, the rule is everywhere. If the action doesn't change, you're going to have to call. So, of course, as soon as he says something, does what every shit reg does, and it starts attacking that guy. You're not in the hand. You shouldn't be talking. Don't say anything, right? It's like,
yeah,
bro, he's saying the correct rule, but look, we'll just wait for the floor to say the right rule. And it's funny because
right.
yesterday, or was it like the day after that, I saw Greg Goes All In did a short on that rule. He's like, calmly,
So
carefully
random.
explaining that when you act out of turn, it holds. It has to stay if nothing happens. So,
Yeah,
anyways, and Flores gives the ruling. The lady calls. He's finally like, well, I'm calling because it's this Sahara rule that she said. It's this special Sahara rule that the floor said. And we're like, bro, it's the rule everywhere. And he goes and he takes forever to call. He has to call. He's like, I'm gonna call, and I'm literally looking down. It's like 10 seconds, 12 seconds, 14 seconds. Like, you have the chips. You already put them out there. How long is this taking? And he starts arguing with the guy some more. The guy's like, bro,
Jeez.
you have to call every. He's like, I was doing this, I was doing that, I
Online.
was, I was blah blah, and he's like counting his chips out super slow. I'm like, oh, getting upset. He's arguing with this guy. So we'd had enough. We were playing four-handed, and every time it was on him, he was going super slow. He would literally, he's like, the action would be on him. He would get up from the table to walk to the other side to like try and show this guy. He's like trying to brag about some comedy show he has. Apparently, he's doing some show here in LA. Some his friends like throwing him a bone, letting him do a show, and he's like walking around, and it's on him. And we're like, we're trying to play poker here, man. It's four-handed. You got to be quick. So
Yeah.
he's slow paying. I I I dig into him, right? So he's just arguing with this guy and say, bro, you're doing this. You're an angle shooter. You're trying to get out of paying. You tried to lie. You tried to do that. You're slowing the game down. We're trying to have fun. Get out, blah, 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 blah. Well, of course, next thing you know, it's like, you're an asshole. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck that guy. I'm never playing here again. I'm going to Resorts World where they respect me. And it's like, I'm like, sure. I'm like, have fun. Good luck over there. Good. Have a good one. So he eventually, and the funny thing is, he's sitting there, he's fuming, he's shouting. We finally get the hand over. He's like, I'm leaving. Deal me out. And the dealer's just dealing because we posted the blinds. Deals him a hand. It's like, deal me out. He's like, I said, deal me out. So he says that, and I look at him like, oh yeah, that means he folds unless he has aces because he's so upset. Clearly, he's gonna fold. So he looks and he actually plays the hand. I'm just laughing. So he does. So he leaves. He leaves after that hand. Goes over to the floor, who's standing over at the podium, and we're just like, we're not paying attention. Next thing we know, security comes over, and they leave together. And the floor comes back over and just says like, he wasn't thrown out. He chose to leave on his own. Yeah, it's
What is
just
wrong?
wild. I
Seriously,
don't
what is
know.
wrong with people? I don't get it, man.
This is why I don't
Yeah,
play cash, man. There's so much more of this at cash, and I'm like, I don't. I
yeah,
always have to
it's
like
true.
be a freaking cowboy every time at the table because somebody's being an asshole.
Yeah, I think maybe the people that are like this just won't have the focus and attention to sit and grind a long tournament. So maybe they just sort of just filter themselves out of the tournament scene.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so Go Birds 90, that's exactly what you're saying, like the shit miserable gatekeeping regs. And it's like that's what I was saying. I'm like when he left, it's just like it's people like that are keeping because I was playing at the table was all other people at the table were tourists. The one guy was here from Jersey, this woman from Sweden, this older gentleman just like he left table to go to the expensive steakhouse and come back, right? And it's just like these guys aren't pros and you're just being insufferable, right? It's like I mean, I'm happy to honestly, I tell my friends I play these low stakes cash games more so to protect the pool like that than to win money because I'm just there for the free drinks and trying to
Right.
I don't
Right.
know. Um, so yeah, so that was my little poker session, and then I got back, and got like 4 hours of sleep and had to go to my meeting in the morning. It was a long day. It was a long day, but it was fun. Um, so I don't know. That seems to I don't know. It seems to happen to me a lot when I play cash, especially in a new room. But I don't know. I think as soon as the guy left, the rest of the table said that guy was a jerk. The guy was an asshole. Like they were basically like, yeah. So I clearly had the crowd on my side. Um,
Yeah. 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 I think it's good that you did what you did. I mean, at some point, people need to call people out like that.
yeah. I
But
don't
that
know.
sort of behavior is, this is why also why I appreciate people like Larry, right? It's very good for
Yeah,
people who just kind
exactly.
of stance those situations, jump in and just try to kill it, and also just let people know what isn't acceptable, not acceptable,
Hmm.
makes it public but professional, right? And people who are just sitting there quietly taking it, feeling uncomfortable, are really thankful that somebody would step in and do that, from a position of authority. So it's
Yeah.
also nice that you kind of just jumped there and did that as well.
Yep. And Go Birds is saying in Florida it's really bad, and it is bad here. And it's so unfortunate that like at the low stakes you get these kind of people who sit at the table and angle and are just like being like little miserable like unpleasant people, and then at the higher stakes, they're literal gatekeepers, where they're just like they're better at being social and having a fake front, but they're not going to let you play the game, right? You just literally
Yeah.
can't sit.
Right.
So it's not the
Right.
first time I've contributed to getting someone thrown out or walked out of a game. It's one time at the bike,
Yeah.
there's a real misreg sitting there and basically like making fun of this older Asian couple, like harassing them, shouting at them for speaking not English in between hands, and only one of them was even playing, and just like being terrible. So I started like like making his life miserable. I was to his left. I just started raising him all the time, showing him every bluff, like trying to put him on steam tilt like that. And it only took one dealer, and when that dealer got up, the dude kicked him under the table, and the dealer immediately called the floor over and had him thrown out of the casino. It was like, it's like, bro.
I I remember that happened. Like this is I haven't played cash in forever, but I still remember this one time. This guy was just being such an ass. Everyone at the table and was kind of bluffing them and telling everybody they were bad and all this kind of stuff. And then I bluffed the absolute shit out of him in this
Yeah.
humongous pot. And it was like such a stone cold bluff that I had nothing on every single street, and I just like check jammed on him on the river. And then he actually got up and started cursing out the dealer, and he's like, "How could you put that ace there? How could you put that ace there?" And then
You showed,
he
right?
folds his hand like, yeah,
Yes.
and then the whole table. And then somebody got up and it's like, "Hey, they're bluffing 3-6 over here or something," and he just said, "Nice hand, nice hand." He actually got racked up and like left.
I
Just
love it. I love it. I love it.
but yeah, you know me, like I would never show like bluffs or anything. So it's just,
Yeah.
it's very, very specific. If I'm showing you a bluff, usually it's either because I'm trying to kneel you because you're my friend,
Yep.
or you're probably doing something bad.
Exactly. Yep. I love it. I love it. That's the best way to that's actual like in-game poker justice. I love it.
Yeah, it is.
All right. So, let's take a look at what is coming up this week. It's our little cash game aside. This is why we don't play cash games. They get thrown out of every cash game for being Cowboys. Um, Big Poker October coming up this weekend, man. I'm super excited. The first weekend we kind of start off slow, honestly though, and not
Yeah.
for everyone. This Saturday event is going to, I mean, it's the first
Yeah,
huge one day. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be like 250K in the prize pool for sure.
yeah.
So
One days are popular with the LA community. So,
yeah.
yeah,
So I think we went over this quickly before, but just to review at a high level, what this series is this weekend we have our one days. Okay, we have our 40K guarantee, 150 guarantee, 75 guarantee, and on the schedule, it's like I said before, all the non-quantum trophy events in this series will count for the player year, and then the following week is the big four, 400K guarantee, $400 buy-in. Very exciting, very excited for that. Week after that starts the quantum half million. The week after that is the mini mega millions. Then they're going to do one days again. No, there's no more weekend for one days. They are the end of, okay, so here they have another legendary deep stack here at the end of the half million. So in between the half million and the mega millions, there's another set of one days. Okay. So then there's the mini mega millions, and then the last week of this series in the kind of the first full week in November. So starting November 5th is the MSPT week. So if you're interested in the MSPT, mark your calendar for November 5th. That is the first MSPT trophy event. Now I'm breaking that rule about needing to have large guarantees in our player of the year for the MSPT because this is the first time they're coming to town. It's very special. So all of the MSPT trophy events are going to count. So this first one on 11/5, this $500 buy-in on 11/5 on Tuesday, and this $500 buy-in on Wednesday, those will both count for the player of the year as well as the main event. So all three MSPT trophy events are going to count for the player of
I
the
think
year.
it's comical that there's a 25K guarantee on MSPT event. I mean, that's probably going to get 100. But
Oh, well,
so,
that's not an MSPT event. See, they don't have the little spade with the eyes on it.
oh, I see.
Yeah, I think just those light blue events are technically MSPT
Uh,
events.
oh, I see. So basically, we're saying for the ones that don't have a guarantee, you're still going to count it. Okay, I
Right.
see.
Yep. So for the three
Yeah,
MSPT events with the little blue that are not, there's only three MSPT trophies being given out that week, I believe.
yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna get all three.
You're gonna get all three.
I'm gonna get all three.
All right.
Actually, I can't play. I actually forget it. I can't play the event on Tuesday or
Yeah, I was
Wednesday.
gonna
So
say
never
you're
mind.
gonna go on
So,
Tuesday, Wednesday. You're gonna be like Frank, and you're gonna be working with your laptop at the table and getting those trophies. All right, man. I can't compete with that.
well, all right. I guess I'm just getting the one. Dang.
Better guarantees in South Florida.
Well, why are you only three events? Jeez.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not sure if that's how it always is in MSPT or not.
Yeah.
We don't have better guarantees in South Florida, right? South Florida, is it not South Florida that has the WPTs with the $3 million guarantees and stuff? Go
I
Birds.
think they only have that one. It's like that one event.
Oh, I
That's
thought it was twice a
humongous,
year.
but then yeah, or yeah, maybe it's twice a year. But the rest of their events, I don't think are as big. I mean, yeah, it's, again, like when we did all the population, stuff.
Yeah.
Florida isn't that big. South Florida, when you compare it to South California, is not that big.
Sure.
It's just that one event. They made it into it, like how Brian described it, how they made it into a marquee event, and now everybody goes to it, right? It's probably, it's up there with like WSOP, WPT, and then
Mm-hmm.
there's that Florida event.
Nice. Um, so when I was looking through this thing, one thing I kind of want to talk about is the. Oh, I was requested from Mr. Wild Gill to bring up the rake again, so I did a little bit of rake analysis, and then I just want to point out one other thing that I think we all know, but it's just another pet peeve of mine about particularly the bike tournaments. But I think the Gardens does it to a lesser extent, not on their bigger events, but definitely on their dailies and some of their smaller stuff. But let's start with the rake. So uh, it's interesting to me that the bike has some of the highest rake in town, but also the largest guarantees. You ever notice that? So
Yes.
the opening event here, they have this 1 day, 11 a.m. Start Friday, right? 40,000 in chips, $260 buy-in with a 40K guarantee. Um, they don't have 40K guarantees typically for a $260 buy-in anywhere else, right? But
Yep.
the rake on this is $60. That is a
Holy
60%.
moly.
That's 60% of compared to the prize pool part, right? So that's how I like to think of it. It's compared to the
Hmm.
prize pool. I'm sorry, it's 30%. It's 30%. Because 200 goes to the prize pool and 60 goes to the fee. That's a lot, but
So,
it's a 40K guarantee. So it's like the bike. It's so hard to win long term. However, the people who win at the bike are just set,
yeah.
because the
Yeah.
the guarantees are so big. It's strange. Why it's like it makes me wonder why the guarantees aren't bigger at other places, right? Like Kevin, I feel like they could. I mean, well, they just crush their guarantees, so it's kind of like having a bigger
Right.
guarantee. But like, I don't know, like the legendary deep stack, right? The 150K guarantee, $400 buy-in. That has a $80 rake of that $40. That's 25%. Like
Yeah.
the prize pool is 320, and then 25% of that is 80. So that's
Yeah.
$80 that 400 goes to the rake. That's a lot. Um,
It is. It's a ton.
but the guarantee is
Yeah.
150K, right? So once again, it's like if you can win this thing, who cares what the rake is? Like it's like the
Right.
multiplier on your buy-in and your potential ROI
Yeah.
is it's like it's huge, right? But your
Yeah.
your overall kind of expected value, your that's getting hurt so bad by the rake here. So like I don't know,
Yeah.
like what how do you
Every time
reconcile that as a
operators
player, right?
Yeah, I mean, every time operators say like, "Oh, we hit our guarantee, we hit our guarantee," and that's kind of what we're after. It doesn't. You're a little bit missing the forest for the trees there in terms of your own like growth, and then we can. I haven't had you said growth that much recently, so growth. But in terms of your growth, you are leaving money on the table because the more that you keep setting higher and higher, watermark with your guarantees, that's when people start to realize, oh, there's going to be big guarantees here, and then they start thinking about going and playing, and all
Yeah.
of a sudden you get more and more people coming out and playing. And basically, Brian described that's what happened in Florida. They said humongous guarantee, they freaking missed it by a ton, but then they didn't drop it; they just kept it up, and then everyone got used to it being so high. So now all of a sudden it's a marquee event. So this is kind of what casinos have to do is they need to, just keep shooting a little bit more higher than you're comfortable with. Be okay just eating a little bit of a guarantee here and there. Like we don't want you to miss your guarantees. Like me and Ty say that all the time, right? We definitely do not want you to, your executives to get discouraged from setting high guarantees. But this is actually how you grow poker. You have to keep setting it high and making people come.
Right. But no, and I absolutely think that and wish places would take bigger swings like that and put more money into marketing the right way once they do it and et cetera to get that to be a sustainable thing, right? Like the LAPC WPT used to be the number 1 or number 2 WPT event of the year, right? Now it's just like
Yeah,
gone. So like they can hold a huge event. But my question is kind of more like how do we reconcile like as a as like a medium small stakes grinder as like someone who plays 500 to 1,000. How do I decide like
yeah,
is it even good for me to play this 260 because like the rake is absurd. $60 out of 200 is
yeah,
insane. But I mean it's a 40K guarantee. That's big for a 200, right? Like how do I decide like um the main event for the Gardens was an 1100 and the rake was only 100. That's
yeah.
amazing, 10%. But the main event, the
So
Park West
how?
Classic, right, was 1200 and the rake was 160, I think. Like that's a smaller
Yeah,
difference, but just in general, these bigger rakes. Like where do I like what should I be thinking about? What's your advice? Do you think that I should be shooting for the biggest first prize possible, even if the rake's gonna kill me, or should I be like should I just be trying to grind all of the best the best rake, right? The best rake with a more reasonable first place, but when I cash, I'm gonna actually profit, right?
Yeah, how you should think about it is, tournament poker with you over and over again. Where you make money in tournament poker is final tables and podium finishes. That's what you're always after, right? So if you have an extremely high cash rate but a very low final table or go deep rate, um, you're basically a break even player or losing player, and you're getting crushed by rate, right? That's what's happening. But that's not why you're playing tournament poker, right? If you're gonna be trying to do calculations that way, why don't you go play cash all the time, right? Tournament poker is about the glory of hitting, going really, really deep, taking the appropriate amount of gambles, in you, to make those deep runs and build a big stack. Um, so with that in mind, I don't think about rake that much. However, I'm also going to say on the other side of it, you need to be realistic about your results and track your results, right? Over a year, are you a profitable player or not? Because basically, if you're a break even or profitable player, you have to start worrying about your budget, because rake is going to eat into a lot of that when you're a break even or just a barely profitable or
Right.
unprofitable player, right? That's when you start thinking about it, but that's okay, because then also, again, think about your goals. If your goal is to keep playing poker to get better at it, this is just sort of like an investment, right? This is an investment into your future, because right now you're basically paying to learn, right? So I don't think about rake that much. However, let's just say that you are a player that only grinds like $100, $200 like dailies all the time. That's where you should start kind of thinking about it, right? Because that feels like a bit of a volume play. Those things are so high variance that I don't even know how Jeremy Becker did what he did. Like, I don't know how you feel consistency in dailies, right? But if you're just a low limit daily player, that's where you have to start. I'm not saying like don't pay attention to the rake, pay attention to the rake, but that, like, if that's all you're really playing, then you should be, a little bit kind of looking out for that kind of stuff. But overall, like, I think if most people are just like me and Ty that are playing these like 500 1Ks, dipping into 2 or 300 when nothing else is going on, I'm not sweating the rake too much usually.
Okay. Yeah, I think my advice would be like, if you're putting in a ton of volume and if you're the kind of person that cashes more than you should but doesn't final table, win very much, I think you're the
Yeah,
kind of person that really should pay attention to the rake in your bottom line,
sure,
right?
sure.
Basically, like you said, you keep track, right? If you keep track of your results and you look and you see like you said, especially if you're like a break even player, then the more volume you put in, like the huge amount that the rake is gonna affect you. Like if you put in 100K in buy-ins a year and you're a break even player, I mean, if you can just like play places where the rake is 5% less, you're gonna make 5 grand instead of breaking even, right? I mean,
Right.
that's
I,
pretty
I
important to
still think
someone who
though,
was break even or losing.
yeah, I still think in that scenario though, it's like if you are a break even or a slightly losing player, just a straight up losing player, but you're trying to get better and you're studying and you're doing solvers and training sites and putting in volume, right? I'm kind of looking at that as an investment, but again, I'm not saying ignore the rake and then just throw away all this money without knowing what's going on. Definitely like track your results, understand what's going on. But if you are trying to get better, kind of have to shot take every once in a while and just kind of put in the volume to do what you need to do to get better. Also be realistic, right? If I think that's probably just a message. Just be realistic about your results and where you are and how much you're improving. But just know that tournament poker is something that you are aiming to get into, deep finishes to make your money, and also you're putting in volume to get better all the time.
Yeah, and for me, I feel like there's kind of two things to look at, and like when I'm bringing up the rake, right? It's like you can compare, if you can compare around town, or if you actually, like if you're in Vegas especially, and you can literally just hold these two tournaments up and be like, well, they're both happening right now. This one has less rake. I'm going to go there, and they're comparable. We don't have
Yeah,
that, typically have that luxury. There's not usually two events that are like the same. It's more like if I'm on a budget and I can only play
yeah,
$2,000 worth of buy-ins over the next 3 months, and then you could look at all the series, right? You could compare. But
mhm,
I guess what I'm summarizing is kind of like, or what I'm hearing is like, so for if you're gonna put in the volume, I think where you put your volume in and what your learning tournament is, like the standard that you're using to grind your teeth and to learn and to implement things. I think you should be kind of conscious of the rake in that one if possible. And then when it comes to shot taking, I think the only thing that should really matter is that first place prize number,
yeah,
the amount,
uh,
right? So if I'm going to shot take, I want the biggest guarantee. I want the biggest first place.
yeah,
If I'm
yeah, absolutely.
grinding, I think I need to be sensitive to rake, honestly.
You should be, but that scenario that you just described of a player who only has a little bit of budget to play a couple of events, and that person sounds like someone who is just sort of playing casually for fun. For those people, I would 100% pay attention to rate, right? Because then, like, you're just talking about playing a couple of times a year, and then if you want to make any money at all, right, then you should be kind of paying attention to that kind of thing. Um, but yeah, so again, my message is not pay attention to rate. Definitely pay attention to rate compared to your results. See how much rate is hurting your results and where you are, how close or how badly is that making you a break even or a losing player, but really keeping an eye on the prize. I think the majority of people are shooting for those higher finishes and also trying to get better. So in that case, I think the majority of people should, again, not be ignorant of break, but then don't factor in it so much that you're, maybe going to skip a big event or something like that, like a 150K guarantee on a Saturday, right?
Right.
Because the break feels a little bit too high. Like definitely don't do that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's definitely like a delicate dance, and obviously
It
though,
is.
just one thing I think we can agree on though is like less rake is better for the community. Period.
It is.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Um, so the other interesting schedule that did get announced is the World Series circuit coming to Commerce November 13th through 26th. Now, Kev Mathers announced this on Twitter for a second, and it was on the World Series website for like a day, and then it went away, and now it's here on the Commerce website. But they don't have a snappy PDF yet that we can see it very easily. I took a look at it. I don't know. Have you seen this yet, Derek? I took a look, and it's
I have.
very similar to the last series.
I have not.
Okay, so let's take a quick look here. The structures don't exist yet. I clicked on these. It just takes you back to this page. And they do seem to be missing the guarantee on a number of these events. At least in this format here, it seems to be missing the guarantee. In the thing I saw before, a couple of these events had guarantees on them. So we don't have all the details written here. I'm not sure if anyone captured that old one, but hopefully those will be posted soon. So this time, instead of, I don't think they had this before. I think before the very first event was the housewarming. So it was that multi-day event right off the bat. This time it's going to start on a Wednesday, and they're going to have a one-day event, a 30K opener, no limit. So there's a guarantee on that, $400 buy-in, 30K. Then it looks like they're going to do survivors pretty much every night. I think my guess is they're basically treating those like satellites. People play those, you get some cash, maybe you play other events. But Wednesday night, they are going to start the first big multi-day event, which is they're calling the mini main. So that's a $600 buy-in, and I believe I saw it had a 500K guarantee before, which would basically mean it's the housewarming all over again. They don't have the guarantee listed here, so I don't know if they're rethinking it or if it's just not listed. But the first multi-flight event is going to be a $600 buy-in, mini main, quote unquote, and they're going to do a Wednesday night flight. They are going to do, and then starting Thursday, they're going to do 2 flights a day. So on Thursday, they're going to do an 11 a.m. and a 4 p.m. On Friday, they're going to do a 11 a.m. and a 4 p.m. And then on Saturday, they are going to do an 11 a.m. and I thought that the Saturday night one might be a turbo, but they're not listing it as a turbo. So, and then for some reason, they're going to run a 7 p.m. tournament on Saturday night. But that's the only day they're running something other than their Survivor during the day. So those are all the day ones. That's pretty good. And then just like last time, they're going to do a mystery bounty starting on Sunday at 1100. So this is the same. So that's what I meant. It's pretty much the same schedule as last time, if I recall.
1100 mystery bounty, huh?
Yep.
I haven't seen a high one like that in a while.
Well, yeah, but this was at the last. This was at the last event because I bagged up crumbs for this exact event. So 1100 mystery bounty. First day one is on Sunday. Second day one should be here on Monday when we get to that. Then they're doing a PLO as well. So that'll be a ring event. My guess is almost all these events that have numbers on them will be ring events. Because once again, like they don't have all the details here. They don't explicitly say ring event. So there's a PLO with 50K guarantee. Monday, there's an 8 max no limit hold'em at 11 a.m. There is another mystery bounty flight at 2 p.m. There's a PLO also on Monday, PLO 8 or better at 4. So some good mixed game ring events coming up again. And then on Tuesday, the Monster Stack starts, and also the day 2 of the Mystery Bounty. So this is the exact same schedule as 4 because I did not day 2 the housewarming, but I did bag the Mystery Bounty. Came back, got 0 bounties like usual, but since I was there and I was out early, I played the Monster Stack. Bagged a big stack in the Monster Stack, had to come back again. So that's why I remember the schedule back then. So that Monster Stack goes Tuesday and Wednesday, And then day 2 on Thursday, they have some more mixed games going on at 2 p.m. Horse. Now, here's a thing that everyone online keeps asking and no one has answered yet. It says horse, play to 9. $600 buy-in, 2 p.m., 10, event 10, Wednesday. No one has said what play to 9 means. We're not sure if that means they're playing to 9 players left and then they're going to pause and maybe there's going to be a stage again. We don't know if the stage is coming back. So all these things hopefully will clarify as we get closer to the series. But right now we're just kind of guessing what the heck these mean. Play to 9 could mean 9 players, could mean 9 p.m.
I think it's just so funny they just would put something out like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like nobody knows that people are, you know what I mean? It's almost like they're so out of touch that they don't realize people are just really confused about it and they're asking questions and nobody's answering or responding. And it's just,
I've seen at least two different people on Twitter reply to people like Kev Mathers put the schedule up and somebody immediately asked what does play to 9 mean. It might have even been Brian Hastings.
It was Brian. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually made a joke on his post.
Exactly.
I hope it's that. I hope they actually just literally mean you're going to play the 9.
Yeah, but like I think it's a ring event, so they have to keep playing it out. So I don't know what this means.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. And then the following week they will have their main event. So this is like a slightly over 2 week series or 2 week series. The main event is a 1700. The last time I saw something written, it was like a 1 million guarantee. This is going to be a great event. Starts on Thursday. First day one is on Thursday, and then they're going to be having. Let's see. So here's a fun thing. Then they're going to have a Thursday 4 p.m. ring event. They were doing these as well. Later in the days, they were doing 1 day ring events in the last series. And then another flight for the main on Friday. Yep, nightly. Well, actually, I don't think the Deep Stack's a ring event, but the $400 at 4 p.m., I believe, are those ring events that we were seeing later in the day last time. And then that main event, day 2, is on Sunday when they also have a seniors event. Once again, no ladies event because it's California and they apparently don't want to deal with that. And then there's a no limit hold'em play to 9. $1,100 buy-in, so it's one of the high roller types on Sunday. I think you played this one, right? The main event, the Sunday of the main event. And then they do have another scene? No, 15B. Interesting. Is this this seniors event is has 2 day ones, 15A and 15B. So that's a little unique. $400 buy-in seniors event with 2 day ones. Huh.
I guess they're recognizing how big the seniors events can get.
Yeah, wow. So then, after the main event ends, Sunday, Monday, there's this no limit hold'em play to 9, whatever that means. There's a high roller no limit starting at 2 p.m. on Thursday. It's a 22 buy-in. I believe you played that one as well last time.
Yeah.
And it closes out with a closer no limit hold'em 1 day on Tuesday. So this will be the last ring event. It looks like they're giving out 18 rings. They just have a date here with a structure. So once again, this is incomplete. We don't have all the details, but the structure's here. And sorry, I had the wrong thing up to show you that the seniors have a 15B and the high rollers and whatnot. So we'll keep talking about this as more details emerge and as Commerce and the World Series release more of their schedule. They've still got a little time, I guess. So on the one hand, this doesn't start until the 13th. So for locals, it's fine that they're still not solidifying all this. But, it still seems like a pretty big, I don't know if I want to call it a punt, but it still seems kind of bad that they don't have a schedule out yet, because how can people travel here and plan if they don't know what it's going to be, right? Like if they don't have a schedule. So they really need to do that as soon as they can, right? Like that's
it's just basic ops stuff.
That's kind of what I'm thinking now. So like here, if you look at, this is the website, circuit schedule. It's a little inconsistent, I guess. So like here's October 30th, the Choctaw one. They don't have anything listed here. Okay, that's not great. So it's not just us. The Grand Victoria has theirs all listed. Theirs starts on November 7th. Ours nothing. So. But look, the Horseshoe Las Vegas has their entire schedule listed with structures. Now, Harris Cherokee for some reason does not, but Horseshoe Tunica does. So and they're not even until January of next year. So, I mean, I would really, if I were running one of these places, I would really want to be more like Horseshoe Tunica than, us. But what are you going to do? I don't think we're going to have nearly as large a draw for this one, obviously, because we don't have the Players Championship this time. We're not forcing those folks to come. but hopefully we
Yep.
will still have some draw. But it'd be nice if they had more, if they had more, if they had the schedule out earlier, right? And they were advertising
Yep.
big guarantees, et cetera, right? So
Yep.
what are we gonna do? We try. The other thing about that is that the main event will be great though, because what I've heard, and I think I mentioned this before, I've heard that through all of their cash game promotions, Commerce has already put around 400 people into that tournament. So a lot of their cash game promotions the last couple months have been win a entry into the World Series Circuit Main, and they've been doing that for the last couple months. They did all through the summer. And what I've heard is they're going to be putting in at least 500 entries through cash game promotion. So that's 500 people basically satelliting in or just getting sweepstakes in. So they're starting that thing off at a $500,000 prize pool right off the bat. So it's going to be
Yep.
good. Definitely get in there and play that one. Make sure you can play that one or you satellite in.
Yep.
All right, man. It's been a long week, a lot of traveling. I think it's roundup time.
It's roundup time.
All right, so as we already covered, this weekend starts Big Poker October. Friday, 40K guarantee. Saturday, 150K guarantee. And Sunday, a 75K guarantee. I know I'm going to be down there at least on Saturday, probably Sunday. I don't know about Friday. I might take that one off. Let Frank have a chance to catch up a bit. That is all of the big series. That's the only. So we're down to just one series happening as opposed to two or three. So this Sunday, the Lucky Lady will be having a 20K guarantee tournament instead of its regular daily, which is, I believe, a 10K. So other than that, the Lucky Lady tournaments will be normal for the week. The Commerce and the Gardens are on their regular daily schedules. So the Gardens obviously always kills it, but this weekend might be a little light over there because the tournaments at the bike are so not normal, but so comparable with the bigger guarantees. So it might be a good day to. I would expect it to be a little softer over there than most months. Over at Hollywood Park this weekend, we have. It looks like they are going to be having no tournaments on Sunday because Green Bay is here playing Los Angeles. On Saturday and Friday, they just have their normal bankroll builder events, and they have a turbo on Sunday nights at 9:45 p.m. is when we're at 7:30 at night. They will be doing a tournament on Sunday night, so that is how the weekend will shape up over there. So not a whole lot of complicated stuff happening this weekend. Really, just one days everywhere, and the big ones at the bike.
Yep. Yep. So definitely, I think the bike's the one. Get out to it. Got a nice trophy. Big guarantee. So I
Yep.
feel like that's probably the one to play on Saturday.
If you're going to play on Saturday, I would recommend getting there quite early or probably level 4 on because
Yeah.
there tends to be a long line for that thing during level 1 and 2.5 or so.
Yeah.
So I would try and get your seat before it starts, or I would wait it out personally.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I got for you this week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with us. I would say, I want to keep improving on my last 2 weeks, but we don't have a big multi-day, so I don't know if I want to waste it on a one day, but
Yeah.
All right, join us
Gotta
next
try
week when Derek convinces 15 people to chop so he can get another trophy. And all right. All right, guys, we appreciate it. It's been good. It's been fun. Thanks for joining us on an off day. We will see you again next week after our hopefully productive weekend at the bike, and we will see you at the tables.
See you at the tables, everyone.
I was having trouble